here. We got the Pantheon, the Olaf, and Exiled Degenerates. Cannot say that I am surprised in any way whatsoever. We have the Ivern, Yasuo, and Swain band away here to start this one off. Now, they do have the option to go ahead and pick themselves up that Nautilus or maybe the Leona Alistar. I would really, really like to see some priority, to get themselves one of those engaged supports, especially if you're going to place something like a Karma up towards the top side where you already have some of that shielding that's going to be going on for a more supportive role. I want to see them draft more engage. They had a composition where they needed to kind of play back, but unfortunately, Darkside had every single tool in the toolbox to be able to dismantle that composition. So there is a lot to work on here for this Degenerate Exiles squad. However, I am hopeful that they can fix some of these issues that they had in the draft, but and also in game. So the Jhin going to get hovered here for the side of Darkside, and it will get locked in. So that's going to get picked up. A very, very strong AD carry pick, as we have talked about. And Graves, can't say I'm really surprised here. Graves has seen so much priority in the jungle these days.
No, Graves is just really strong, and I like the idea from Degenerate Exiles. It's like, if it worked in game one, let's just ban it. Like, let's just throw them off their game plan. Let them beat us with something different. And that's what I like, especially when you get slapped up that hard. There's not a lot you can take away from that game. There's not a lot you can learn because you just lost everywhere so quickly. But I like the Graves pick. Kai'Sa Leona, I think, is a very strong bot lane. Kai'Sa is probably like a top tier AD alongside Jhin. So again, they're changing up their entire pick band right now, and I like where it's going.
Absolutely. This is exactly kind of what we want to see too. We've got some of these meta picks. You have some engage. You have some of that long range kill potential with the collateral damage on the Graves here in case any of those kills kind of get away from you here. But with that being said, there is a lot of CC potential here for the side of Darkside as well. So Morgana, Jhin, the suspected bot lane here for the side of Darkside, can be a dangerous composition. So you have to be really, really careful. If you manage to catch one Dark Binding, you are not going anywhere anytime soon. Granted, with that being said, they do have the Leona down there for the Exiled Degenerates bot lane, or Degenerate Exiles bot lane. So, she can kind of get in there, assuming that the Black Shield does not land in time. But with the bans kind of rounding out here, Aatrox on the side of Darkside, going to get taken away, maybe going to kind of continue to index some of those top lane picks. What I would like to see is either the Malphite picked up or banned here. Just plain and simple. Picked up or banned by Darkside. They know that they can play it. Volibear could still be played in the jungle, but most likely will be topside. So they do have maybe a little bit of flex potential here, but they are going to ban out the Aatrox and the Shen. If this is the Volibear top, then we know that those are two picks that they do not want to play against if they already have their top laner decided. But the other brother going to get banned away here as well. They do not want crits anywhere near the Yasuo or Yone.
Yeah, they don't even want it. They said Yasuo was too much. We're just banning out the entire family. Get Yone out of here too. And lore related, get Lilia out of here. They said, I'm not dealing with that entire Ionian continent. Yasuo, again, big. I do like what's happening with the Degenerate Exiles changing up the game plan. But again, we do have to acknowledge Darkside does have last pick. So crits will get a counter pick. That's going to happen. And again, Darkside plays their comp around crits. We can already see Jhin, Morgana, Volibear, Ornn. They are setting up for Darkside. Darkside is going to be the carry of the game again, and Degenerate Exiles should know that. And so I want to see Degenerate Exiles game plan in terms of in-game around shutting down crits, because if you shut down crits, you can shut down the entire game plan for Darkside.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So Ornn up there. And so here's the other thing, too. I think Darkside knows that they had pretty much what was a picture-perfect game there in game number one. That kind of success you don't always get. So I think that they are kind of hedging their bets. They're saying, okay, look, we had a very, very dominant game one. We played well in the early game. We got our mid laner ahead and fed. But they're drafting themselves some late game insurance here, right? With the Jhin, with the Ornn. You're going to have those Ornn upgrade items that are going to be coming out once that Ornn does hit level 14. So, they're saying to themselves, all right, let's kind of calm down here for a second. They're not drafting anything completely wild, which I like to see. They're keeping to their plan here. So crits gonna be up against the Orianna here in the mid lane with the Malphite and the Orianna picked up. And honestly, already this Degenerate Exiles comp is so much better. It just, at least in my analytical opinion here, you have draft carries, you have drafted engage, and they really should be looking for something awesome here. Corki. An interesting pick. An interesting pick indeed. A lot of scaling really coming out from the Darkside squad here. So they showed us early game prowess in game number 1, and they are looking to show us some mid game, late game team fighting here. So I'm actually very, very excited to see what they've got cooking for us.
And a little bit of a throwback to the Corki Orianna mid lane matchup. Again, Corki, he has the carry potential. He does have a lot of damage, and he mixes in that magic damage, which is one thing I was going to mention that Darkside did lack, mainly just having damage from Auron and Morgana. But Corki coming in there, another carry that Darkside can play around for crits. I have to say, Degenerate Exiles comp is completely revamped from what we saw in game number 1. They have a lot of engage, they have a lot of press go buttons, and their ease of execution has been lowered so much. It's so much easier to execute this comp than what we saw in the game 1, which was like a double Moonstone, Moonstaff game with like a Kindred jungle, Graves jungle, Leona Kai'Sa bot lane. Easy to execute, easy to game plan around, and these team fights are going to be very explosive because we're going to see Malphite Orianna comp, we're going to see an Auron ulti plus Volibear charging through, so it's going to be about who can keep their carry safe. And honestly, right now, I have to kind of give it to Degenerate Exiles because Kai'Sa and Orianna can do a lot. And again, Corki is a ranged character, but he does suffer from he does have a shorter range than what Orianna Ball is, so Orianna can keep him out of a lot of these team fights very easily if she gets ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. Volibear, not exactly known as the strongest of early game junglers, really does want to wait for level 6 as well, so he can get those successful turret dives off. Is that to say that he doesn't have potential? No, absolutely not. Not what I'm saying at all. But I do tend to agree with you here. Exiled Degenerates, they do have some of that early game power, maybe with the Graves being able to power farm through this jungle. Could get very strong very quick. Kai'Sa as well, probably, I mean, honestly, I'd put her right up there with Jhin, one of the top tier 80 carries right now, capable of doing a lot of damage. And very, very mobile, which I think will be important when you consider you've got a Morgana, an Auron, and a Volibear that all want to chase you down and kill you. Well, Kai'Sa, she'll go invis, she'll use the Ultimate Hunter, try to get away. The Leona is great for Peel to be able to keep that Kai'Sa alive, and the Malphite is great there for the engage. I'm really, really looking forward to some Malphite Orianna ultimates. The combination can be extremely deadly, and if they're able to find and pick off the right members here from Darkside, I do have to say that Degenerate Exiles, they have drafted themselves a much better composition. Their ease of execution, much simpler this time around. And if Darkside does find themselves kind of slipping up a little bit here or taking for granted that that first easy game that they had against Degenerate Exiles, then they could kind of fall on the backside here. So it'll be interesting to see exactly what we will be getting out of these teams, but I'm very, very excited at the notion that I think this game is going to be a lot closer than what we did see in game number 1. Good, Jim.
And I have to say, the matchup to watch is going to be that mid lane. Again, Corki Orianna isn't going to be very explosive, but in terms of team fighting, those are going to be the carries to watch because, again, Jhin does output damage, Kai'Sa does output damage, but they're shorter range, honestly, and they're going to get dove pretty easily. But Corki Orianna is going to be like the main magic damage for both of these comps. There's a lot of tankiness, and a lot of the tanks do itemize a lot more armor than they do magic resist. So Corki Orianna are going to be the primary shredders for a lot of these tanks. I want to see how they play. And again, we saw in game number 1, they had an early invade to give crits the early kill. What do they do now to give crits a lead when he's not on a character like Yasuo who can be so explosive? A character like Corki that needs a little bit of time to scale because, again, Corki's going to have to build a Mirror Mana. He's going to have to build the most likely the Triforce of Divine Sunder. So it's going to take a little bit more for Darkside to kind of assemble that ball of damage. And during that time, Degenerate Exile does have a lot of leeway to make plays around bot lane because, again, Leona, Malphite, Orianna, it's explosive, and that can win a fight for you pretty much instantly.
Yeah, it really can. Gunjin, do you think we're going to get the good old level 1 invade here again from the side of Darkside? Or do you think they'll change it up a little bit?
I think they will level 1 invade. I think they have the Morgana. I think they'll try to look and fish. And honestly, I'll do a spicy prediction. I think they'll do a 5-man bot invade. They'll try to fish the Morgana 5. They're going to swap it up.
See, now they're going to watch the stream and they're going to be like, yep, nope, not doing a bot invade. And then they're going to be like, haha, Gunjin, gotcha. Cast a curse. I love it. Anyway, we are almost wrapping up here actually for our short intermission into our game number 2, which I am very, very, very excited about. I have my faith though in Darkside. I put my money on crits I do believe that he is the one that can carry this team to the promised land, and a very, very strong showing here in game number 2 of this best of 2. I'm excited, Gunjan. I really, really am. This is exactly how I wanted to see mid-league start off. But with that being said, we're going to go ahead and roll it on over as we best through this spectator intermission. And we will see you on Summoner's Rift with Mac Dewey and Cowboy Casts, bringing you the game.
Welcome back, ladies, men, and monsters. Remember, my name is Cowboy, and I'm with Mac, and we are going to be casting over the second game. Previous game, Darkside absolutely crushed the Exiles, but now that the Exiles have bans and they have a composition they're more comfortable with, we're hoping that there could be quite the turnaround. What are you thinking, Mac?
Yeah, I think something that the Degenerate Exiles have going for them coming into this second game is that I think they've drafted a lot closer to their comfort zone. I think in game number 1, they wanted to try out the new meta flavors and just maybe haven't had enough practice on that, and wasn't it kind of got smashed in the early game for what Darkside had put together. Granted, the Exiles did lose 3 bans at the start of game number 1, So that kind of impacted how the draft went for them. Coming in game number 2, they're hoping to turn things around. It is a best of 2, so the best they could hope for is tying this up 1-1. Starting off your week 1 that way isn't bad at all. And everyone coming in week 1, a lot of new faces for the mid league, everyone trying to find their footing. Hopefully, I think with Degenerate Exiles, with a much more classic kind of competitive composition, very team fight wombo combo focus, I think they'll be more at home with this and be able to work a little bit better together.
Look at them sitting in the bush. They're chilling. The Dark Binding is going to connect, so they are going to take a little bit of damage away from Yellow Snow, but that's okay. Alright, so first things first, before we get into anything actually worth saying, all we gotta say is Coach has Elderwood Owen in January, meaning that he donated to charity, so let's just give a quick round of applause for him being a good person.
Thank you, Coach. Doing work on and off the Rift. His first game on the Malphite, Pyro wanted to switch things up, took the Malphite away from Coach. Coach had a really solid game, I think. Especially playing into that Karma, had really solid roams, was able to pressure Jisoo just on scuttle objectives because the team was communicating really well. I really want to see that continue in game number 2. We'll have to see if Zongi on this Volley Bear is able to dominate the map as well as he just did on that Ivern.
Yeah, I definitely hope so. Volibear and Ivern are unsurprisingly 2 wildly different champions.
Yeah.
And I really want to see how Zongi can adapt throughout, one game. Because you go from basically being the Ivern carry, keeping, your Yasuo alive and stuff, to hopefully being the carry or being the tank or, all that jazz.
Exactly.
So, I really want to know what's going to happen here.
Yeah, both of these junglers on the bottom side of the map, Cowboy, could end up meeting each other. The bot lane pressure, pretty even. We're going to see the pool noodle fight in the top lane not result in a whole lot. Kritz has got to be careful too. Gungeon, a really solid discussion during the draft about the range difference between these 2 champions. That's already kind of coming up in this early game. Kritz, though, doing a solid job staying even in CS, but this Corki is a long way to go until being incredibly relevant in this game, especially in these team fights. And also shout out Idea for the tier 1 subs. We really do appreciate the support, my guy.
I don't even have chat open, but thanks, brother. Let's go.
He's excited. Someone's excited for mid league.
Exactly. So in the middle lane, I do really like Orianna here. Orianna comes online much earlier than Corki, because Corki, he needs a few items, he needs to scale a little bit, and then he'll just become an absolute monster. Orianna hits 6, and then she'll have basically everything she needs. She will have that one movement, or that one ability, that can literally win you fights.
Yeah. And there's a lot of engage potential from both of these teams. I think that's the main thing that's going to contribute to making this game a lot closer. I feel like overall, Pyro and Shockblade on those Moonstone supports were never really able to get fully online. We kind of saw glimpses of the amount of healing they could dish out towards the end of that game, but it was kind of nullified by that Ocean Soul. Now here, Shockblade, Pyro going to be given a lot more playmaking opportunity to get on to these backline carries. And look already, Degenerate Exiles getting a solid bot freeze. They're going to have to give up potentially this dragon, though, as we also see Jisoo on the top side of the map. I think this is going to be free for Darkside.
It definitely is. Volibear can basically solo dragon at level 4 if you wanted to, let's be real.
Right.
So I really do like this dragon. We're not going to be seeing an Ocean Soul, which would have been infinitely better for Darkside this game than last game.
Right,
but
right.
That's okay.
We'll also have to see how the Darkside bot lane... Ooh, we got a mid lane gank, though.
Mid lane gank coming on here. Zongi, sorry, is going to hit the slow on that Orianna. Not working out overall, but I do like the effort.
Absolutely. Crits, level advantage at this point in the lane now. Cowboy, Sovereign, now getting that shockwave available. Still, I think some much helpful pressure to try to get your mid lane stud really ahead into this game so he can have a similar performance that he just did. We know Crits can dominate. We'll just have to see if he can handle playing on the Corki as well as Coach. He's going to try to get away here. Pyro really looking for something here.
Pyro is really determined to win that trade, but when he has 2 caster minions compared to like a wave and a half, I guess it's not really that bad. Coach is going to hit 6 off of this though. Doggy bot lane. Oh, look at that! Look at that Ornn damage. Tank, by the way.
200 years. Call of the Forge God very much available. I wonder, are we going to see something here?
We might. I hope we do. Mostly because
He's
gonna use it. Is he gonna hit it? He is. The Unstoppable not going to quite block it. That's gonna be first blood in the top lane for Coach.
Turns out...
Forge God. Call of the Forge God? Something like that. I don't remember. Incredibly powerful tool. I'd say it's a better ultimate than Malphite ult. It does the same thing that Malphite does, but better. Pretty much.
Only one though can be... Oh, another gank here, Cowboy.
Oh gosh, Zongi is thirsty for this piece of robot action in the middle lane. The bear is not quite gonna get it, but Jisoo is going to find the bear. He's just gonna walk away, you know, he's chilling. But
yeah, it turns out in the top lane there, Cowboy, even the Unstoppable Force Rock was brittle enough for Coach to pick up first blood there. And we're seeing a lot of solid mid lane pressure come out of Darkside. I love how they're approaching the map. Pyro, just a little skill check there, not a big deal at all. Degenerate Exiles, plenty of room to work with here. Something to kind of be concerned though, if you're an Exiles fan, is Coach with this level lead, with the CS lead. He's going to be having ornament items come on later in the game, so if he starts out the early game ahead, it's only going to get worse for you as the game progresses.
God, I hate Ornn so much. We thought the tank meta was over, and then we look at Ornn and we're like, oh, he's an entire meta by himself. Oh god.
Oh,
Old
this
strat
could be punished.
Uh-oh, that's going to be the ults from Yellow Snow coming out. Really nice. Smoke screen, that's what it's called, and Shockblade is going to be able to pick up that kill onto Old Stretch.
A beautiful sequence there from the Graves, but what is that going to lead to? Not a whole lot. We actually still do see Cowboy Darkside dominating the vision on the bottom side of the map, just not going to be able to go through Tri-Brush. They're feeling, I think, really comfortable at this point in the game. Zongi is down a level, but does have his ultimate available, could maybe look to try to defend this bot lane turret. They don't know where the Old Scratch is necessarily, so they think it's just a Morgana at the moment. They're gonna get spotted out on this ward. Here we go!
Uh-oh. Zongi does have the ultimate ready. He is going to come down and attack them. Yellow Snow, extremely low HP. We do have the ult coming out from over there. That damage. Smokescreen not quite going to block enough. We do have the teleport from Coach. That is going to be the Call of the Forge God coming out. It's not going to connect. Jisoo barely making it out. No, he's going to get routed by the Dark Binding. That's the knockup from Ornn. Is that going to be the root from Jin? It is not, but that's going to be the double kill for the Old Scratch. Yikes! That was an incredible play by Darkside, and that's exactly what they needed to pull themselves the lead back in this game.
Huge fight there from the red side. Darkside looking to continue on their performance from game number 1 of this set of 2. The package is going to be online. Dragon spawning shortly. Everything going right. But for this dragon fight, Pyro, teleport still available. Same with Sovereign. I would have maybe liked to see Sovereign teleport down there and try to recover from that previous play because the Darkside just really won out. But they might be able to pressure this dragon and at least even up that score with the teleport advantage in the top lane. We'll have to see if the Dark Bindings are continuing to get more picks.
Dark Binding is going to connect. Zongi is a little bit thirsty. That's going to be the ult from Jisoo to try to disengage. Sorry, Zongi forced to run back. That's going to be the Shockwave that's going to pick him up. Yellow Snow going to be able to take that kill. And this is going to be a Mountain Dragon for the Exiles.
Yeah, Darkside, they realize, especially with that teleport being used, they're gonna have to give away that objective. But Pyro, unfortunately, got burned on that play. That was a very unfortunate teleport. He's gonna get rooted down and lose even more CS, while Coach is gonna be knocking down those turret plates. While, yes, the Exiles are able to even up the Dragon score, Pyro is falling very far behind in this top lane. Coach going to be just fine going into the Ronk. He's already got his mythic item completed, the first one of the game. Exiles, they're able to get something back on the map, but I wonder, was that worth it? They got to worry about this Ornn. Level 9, going to be getting those ornament items online pretty early, especially compared to where everyone else is going to be at.
You know, I heard like half of what you said. I was more thinking about... So, if Ornn can craft anything from anywhere, but he has to use gold, does that mean everything he makes is made out of gold? Does that mean like the boots he's... like the tier 1 boots? Are those made of gold?
Oh, we'll have to ask him after this. Gank actually not gonna result in too much. The Unstoppable Force gonna be burned away. Better than using Flash to get out of that gank. And now Degenerate Exiles know Zhongyi is on the top side of this map. We see Crits helping escort him back to safety here, as the top side jungle is going to be a little contested in terms of vision, the control ward. And I think that Trinket actually going to survive Zhongyi, given the Scuttle Crab there, Cowboy. Pretty solid mid game, I think, from both teams. Just got to watch out for this top lane. That's my lane to watch. ZX, though, the Exiles ADC, I think he's my player to watch right now. He's got the Kraken Slayer online. This Kai'Sa, for as far behind as Pyro is kind of at this point in the game, this Kai'Sa is going to be trying to help reduce that difference a little bit. Has the Kraken Slayer completed, could get a pick right here.
Rice, the spell immune, is going to prevent the slow from the smoke screen, single-handedly saving his life there, actually. Really good effort from the Exiles, but unfortunately just the Alt-E is the ultimate outplay button.
We can't sleep on this Wombo combo of the Exiles. Pyro could just serve as really a ball delivery champion in this one. If he's able to find the right ultimates later in the team fights, that can still absolutely be game-changing. What I want to see from Darkside is they utilize this advantage in the side lane and maybe try to get Old Scratch a little bit further ahead. He has the 2 kills, but he's seriously far behind in CS. Luckily, he's got that Gale Force online. Crits on the Corki also went for Gale Force. I'm really excited to see how this Corki, how the damage comes out later in this game. We see Jisso playing around this bot lane. Old Scratch, he's got to be careful. Shockblade, he has everything.
He does have everything. That's going to be the Solar Flare. The Gale Force going to dodge it. The Zenith Blade not connecting. Look at all that damage. That's going to be the ult from Kai'Sa coming out. That's going to be the shutdown. Rice Difference is going to get the stun. Crits is hopefully going to be able to pick up this kill, and he quite, in fact, is. Yellow Snow getting a little bit aggressive there. But ultimately, a 1-for-1. I don't know if that's worth, actually. A 1-for-1 with a Corki?
Yeah, and a lot of summoner spells burn there, Cowboy. Notably, Crits using Teleport. Look at all the flashes burned from Rice Diff, from Old Scratch, everywhere. It was a party there in the bot lane. Notably, Shockblade on the Leona. Still Flash available, still Ignite available. The 1-for-1 trade, actually, I think, going a little bit in favor of the Exiles on top of the summoner spell advantage. The Kai'Sa also able to get a shutdown. Very nice to get that little extra boost of gold. Exiles trying to keep this game even.
We do have 2 packages ready for Corki, and we see him at level 11. So this next dragon fight could be an absolute death sentence for the Exiles.
Yeah, I'm a little worried if they don't have the right engage. They really want to set things up, and that's a little difficult when they haven't really been dominant in terms of vision. Right now, there's a lot of solid setup. We'll have to see if Rice Difference is able to come in and make a difference and really try to set his team up for success, because the more information Degenerate Exiles are able to gather through their wards, the better they're going to be. Not only in terms of just information, but also flank wards. how well Pyro's able to join these fights is, in fact, very game-changing.
It definitely is. So, does not look like they're going to give up this third dragon without a fight. We didn't really touch on it, but we do see that it is going to be a Cloud Soul. How do you feel about that, real quick?
Well, it is less impactful, but it's still worth fighting for. All 5 down here, Cowboy. We're gonna have ourselves a rodeo.
We quite, in fact, are. Oh, that's going to be the engage on the Pyro. Crits is going to follow up. Scratch is going to follow up as well. That's going to be the unstoppable force. Ooh. Looks like it's going to be a 1-for-0. The Exiles not quite interested in re-engaging. Although they might have to give up this dragon.
Package still available.
Dragon, yes. We do have the Ornhorn coming out. Solar Flare is available. You do have to keep that in mind. That's going to be the root. Oh, that's the Corki package coming out. Going to be going through in the middle of the fight. That's going to be the volley ult as well. Look at all that damage. The stun is going to keep Jisoo in an absolutely terrible position. Yellow Snow is going to be able to pick up the kill on the Zongi. Oh my gosh, triple kill for the Jin. This is absolutely terrible for the side of the Exiles.
Well, it was the solo lanes that had the pop-off performances for Darkside in game number 1. The bot side wanted to get in a little bit on the action for game number 2 here, Cowboy. What a solid fight there from the Old Scratch and Rice difference. I also want to note it was Pyro. I was talking about before that fight, Cowboy. The Malphite positioning is just so critical for setting up the rest of the team. And when he's the first one dying, using his ultimate with no follow-up, that's really not what we want to see from the Degenerate Exiles. They're not out of this game just yet. First, it is a Cloud Soul. Not really the easiest thing to end games with, especially considering not a lot of crazy high-powered ultimates. Call of the Forge God getting on a low cooldown is decent. Same with Curtain Call and Soul Shackles. But you have Stormbringer and Rockets from Corki. It will help them. I mean, stats are good. You know, they're not going to complain about getting that ultimate ability haste one bit. But it's not, again, not as powerful as some of the other souls. We'll have to see if Darkside, if they're able to translate some of these dragon fights, maybe try to bait Degenerate Exiles into taking a fight while they're down in gold, while they're starting to fall behind in terms of items, and try to transition that victory into a bear and into bigger things. Is the Cloud Soul not going to be enough, but it will lead into the big Baron plays that are going to be what Darkside rely on in order to close this one out.
Mm-hmm. So, we do see that Herald going into the mid lane there. Not able to take the turret, but if it did, that would just furthermore push the gold lead. Right now it's about 1,500. How do you feel about the gold distribution?
Well, I think it's pretty ideal. Across the board, we see Coach almost 3,000 gold ahead of Pyro at the moment. This Orin is going to be a tough nut to crack. You do have the ADCs quite similar in gold totals for both sides. The Old Scratch going to try to make a play happen using that Gale Force, unable to come up with anything. We're actually going to see the Curtain Call come out as well. Root lands the 4th bullet. Could we get a fight over just this?
I don't know how I feel about that Curtain Call. What I do know, though, is that Scratch got a little aggressive there, and he tanked the entirety of a solo Acathian range.
Oh, Jisoo, he's hiding!
Oh, Zongi is getting a little aggressive. Jisoo, the ult of Graves is not going to do too much damage. That's going to be the Stormbringer from Zongi to try to disengage, but it's not going to be enough. Old Scratch taken down by Yellow Snow. Pyro is going to be ulting under the turret. Crits now by himself is in a... excuse me, oh my god. A really tough spot. I'm dying. Triple kill for Yellow Snow. Oh!
Absolute travesty from the side of Darkside. Why are you guys taking that fight? Coach, no teleport on the opposite side of the map is just split pushing. You don't need to be applying pressure with your bot lane. You have no idea where Jisoo is. Turns out he's hiding in the brush, is exactly where you don't... Worst nightmares coming from Darkside when they realize just so he's in that bush you didn't want the Graves to be in. So really solid setup there from the side of the Degenerate Exiles, finally using their teleports correctly there compared to earlier in the game. Solid communication during these critical times in the game is so important. And if Degenerate Exiles are able to turn that fight, they're now even in this game. Look at the scoreboard, Cowboy, just to check for us. It's now actually the Degenerate Exiles with the lead. In Darkside, they gotta worry. Did that going for that fight over really no objective? That's why I'm kind of question marks around that area for them. So I was kind of expecting for them to just play around Dragon, play around Baron, but they tried to take the fight. They didn't have the vision there. It's just too well set up from the Exiles. We'll have to see if the Exiles, Cowboy, can build on that previous setup. They'll have to deal with Coach, and they'll have to deal with this Fed Jin. But I'm telling you, there's a chance, and I'm telling you, there's Wildbow combo potential.
That last fight, it brought the Darksiders to being about 1,500 to 2,000 gold up to being dead even or even a little bit behind, as we can see now. That
weird package usage. We're gonna see a fight now.
You have the call of the Forge God coming out. Not quite gonna happen. The steal is insane. Jisoo is crazy. He's gonna be able to pick up the kill on a Zongi as well. The curtain call, I believe, was opening there for half a second. All of them such low HP. That's gonna be the pick on the Coach. That's the flash forward from Jisoo. What a bloodbath and what a steal to save this game.
Huge fight going the way of the Exiles, Cowboy. And if I were to describe it in one word, it would be patience. They waited for the right moment. Just so, a huge steal, perfectly timed, and they wait for Darkside to waste all of their ultimates, and then they play the Uno reverse card. That was pretty neat. Let us try our version. There were a lot of critical abilities that were kind of misused there, I think, from Darkside. Crits using the package in a really weird way. We saw Zongi die super early when he needs to be the one.
Oh, Shockwave! Two-man Shockwave. Stormbringer coming out on exactly two people. Zongi gonna be picked out again. Coach is in there like swimwear. Look at them go. Two of them extremely low HP, but no fight looks like wants to commence. The Acathian Rain. Oh, everyone's a little cautious here. They're not sure what they want to do. The Solar Flare coming out. Not sure if that was engage or disengage in the comms, but it hits one and doesn't make any plays.
I think that wasn't too bad from Darkside to try and slow down the tempo of this game. They realized, hey, we still got ornament items to try to help us scale. Let's get to that point. Coach now level 14. Things getting a little out of hand from the match 1 winners. We have Zongi now just hitting level 11, has fallen really far behind the Graves, just naturally going to happen. Graves, Olaf, those kind of tier junglers just going to be outpacing, I feel like, some of these old class ones. So Zongi, what do you got to do? You got to be looking for the smart engages, not what we saw in the bot lane, but trying to link up with Coach in the Call of the Forge God in the package. I feel like that's the dream engage from Darkside in those 3 critical pieces. Wow, Coach has been finding fantastic knockups, even just with his Searing charge, has been playing out of his mind. When he's going in there without any follow-up, it's resulting in a fight that the Exiles can actually manage just fine, and when their DPS and engage is able to get off in response to kind of the misuse coming out of Darkside. Want to see them try to clean things up, maybe look for picks with the Jhin and the Morgana, go back to that. And let's regroup here for Darkside. You've been playing great. Let's see how they're able to handle this Wombo combo composition coming out of the Exiles, who I think have finally found their footing in this series and are really starting to put their foot on the gas pedal.
We do see the Exiles looking for Baron here, possibly. They're definitely in a great spot to take it.
Right.
With Crit going in the bot side of the map. I don't know if he has package or not. Let me pan over and check real quick. He does not have package, meaning this next fight could, you know, be well in the favor of the Exiles here.
Yeah. And as we get closer to that fight, Cowboy, we're going to be looking at vision, and as Idea pointed out, we only see a 5 vision score from Kritz's Corki at the moment. Not ideal. I don't think it's counting the blue ward trinkets because it went on cooldown and his ward score didn't go up. Hasn't been buying a lot of control wards. Nevertheless, coach, maybe a little caught out here. There's a lot of members of the Exiles on the top side of this map. Nothing gonna happen just yet. We see the ornament items coming online. That's a big thing to keep our eyes on, as I mentioned before. In this game, kind of entering a little state, both of these teams slowing down the pace. Looking at these lane assignments now, that's kind of what becomes important at this stage of the game. We've got 45 seconds on Dragon, 0 wards in that area. A lot of vision around Baron. I think that's the bigger objective. Both of these teams want to get onto Soul Point. Obviously would make a big difference, but I wonder if you're Darkside, you know Dragon's going to be in the sights of the Exiles. Maybe you try to look for Baron. But look at the vision control. I don't think you're going to be able to sneak it. I think you might have to try to match the Exiles if you're Darkside around this next objective. Look at 4 members already going down there. It spawns in 15 seconds, Cowboy, and it's the Exiles who are the first ones there.
For the side of Darkside, the bot lane around Dragon looking darker than the proper way to have your Twitch brightness setting. Seriously, who uses light mode? Like, do you have a death wish? Like, do you hate yourself? Like, anyways, we are going to see this Dragon being picked up. No contest, but in retaliation, see Darkside on the top side of the map setting up for the Baron. Everyone's just dancing around it. They're dancing around the giant space lizard. I'm not too sure what either team wants here.
It's interesting. We've got ourselves a little bit of a situation where both teams want a team fight. That's what their compositions are designed to do, but the players themselves are kind of worried about looking for that engage. I think Zongi learned well from earlier, not going to be looking for any engages when he doesn't know where the Graves is out on the map. Doing a solid job now, sticking with the team. Old Scratch, I think, is doing absolutely correct lane positions for both of these teams. Put your solo laners, into the side lanes because they have teleport available. They're going to be easily able to join a fight no matter where it is on the map. Granted, there has to be wards there, and that's something that Degenerate Exiles have just been dominating, a category they've excelled at so far. They're going to be the ones controlling the pace of this game from now on. It seems like Crits, gotta get those control wards online, my guy. That's like a minor thing, though. No worries. Keep doing you. Degenerate Exiles, look at the carries. Look at what performance they've been able to put together for themselves. Massive CS lead for the Kaisa. 4 items, an entire item lead over the Jhin. I think that might just be due to the 80 CS lead. I was talking about the Kaisa earlier in this game as looking for me to have a big impact and hasn't disappointed one bit. Pyro has got the tank items completed, is going to be able to serve his purpose just fine. Degenerate Exiles, I think they're in a really solid position. I think Sovereign's been having a quiet but solid game on the Orianna, and if the Shockwave is right, any fight is winnable. Coach has to watch out for the Graves here, just so actually going to join.
Uh-oh. Coach in a little bit of trouble, but it really doesn't matter because this man, he's a loaf. He's not even, he's a whole loaf of bread. Like,
yeah.
Actually, I regret saying chunky and loaf in the same sentence. That was a terrible idea. I would like to apologize.
Nevertheless, we see, look, I mean, Vision's the name of the game. I'm going to try to figure out something else to talk about, though. Both of these teams, I guess, waiting for the next dragon. No one wants to start up Baron, man. Everyone's fine with just getting to level 18, 6 items, and you might wonder who's going to win at that point, and it's all going to come down to the execution, who gets picked, because I tell you, if Pyro, remember that dragon fight earlier on in the game, if he's going to be the first one to die, then it's going to be a pretty easy match for Darkside, but if the Exiles are able to continue staying grouped up like this, Shockblade working well with Jiso, establishing a lot of vision control in the enemy jungle, it's going to be hard for Darkside to find the picks that have worked with them so far.
See, it's happening again. Just everybody's dancing around the Herald. Everybody's too scared to start it. They're waiting for Pyro to take this top turret so they can open up the map and push those waves without any fear of Coach just walking along doing his loaf things.
Yeah, and what I worry about is Darkside. Have they pushed this game too long? You've got a massive lead for the Kaisa compared to the Jin. At this point, if they don't find a perfect engage, the fight might be suicide. There's a 3-level difference between the ADCs. And I think this Kaisa is seriously in a position when you get lost in the ultimate unstoppable force, you get lost in the shockwave. What you forget is that killer instinct flying in at the end to clean up a fight. That's what I'm going to be looking for when we get to this next team fight. It might be next year. If this feels like 2020. This feels like the 2020 of League games, low-key waiting for this next fight coming. The last fight was at the 23-minute mark. It has been almost 10 minutes of these teams just trying to farm up and get things ready. We see the top lane, a little bit of an item lead. Mid lane, very even as well. I'm going to be looking for these bot laners, Cowboy, as I mentioned before, to be the big difference makers for their teams. You got to step up. It's ADC for a reason. Can you fill that carry role?
Exactly. And you know, I'm not gonna say much, but as I said on one of my pitches earlier today, it's just it's just a battle on who can make ADC relevant again. Especially with the meta we're coming in currently, Moonstaff, or as I like to call it, Ardent 2 Electric Boogaloo, is just taking over the meta. It's not.
We got the package for this fight. It's a 5v5. Everyone's here, Cowboy.
Everyone is here, and the Baron is being started by the Darkside. Look at this. Huge ults coming out. Jisoo gonna pick up the first kill on the Zongi. The curtain call is not going out without a fight, though. Crits is going to be able to take out Yellow Snow. The double Shockwave is doing so much damage, but Shockblade getting in there, taking a little bit too much damage, and he's going to fall. Pyro gonna fall as well. Sovereign flashing out, not able to do anything. Jisoo full HP here, though. He's interested in taking the crab. He can't re-engage at all just because of the amount of peel that Morgana Ornn has onto a Jhin. And let alone Jhin to begin with, because you just press W, and then they just, like, can't move. You know?
It was honestly a beautiful fight there from Darkside. It was kind of exactly what I wanted to see, Cowboy. You saw, as soon as they spotted Degenerate Exiles, they pulled the trigger. They didn't give them a moment to think. They have the longer range engage when the curtain call is there, when the package is there, when the call of the Forge God is there. They're going to be the ones to engage first. They knew this. Starting up the Baron, forcing the fight, finally get what they're looking for. They pick up the Dragon. We're going to the 7th Drake of the game. Next one, we're definitely getting a Soul, Cowboy. Nevertheless, we're also going to be having these ornament items helping out the Team Darkside, help them get a little bit closer. The scoreboard can be a little deceiving, doesn't shout out those orange stats, helping everyone out. We see double upgraded Gale Forces already online. And the tooltip doesn't show for Sunfire Cape, but both Sunfire Capes have turned into a little bit of a Forge Fire Crest action. We've got that online for the tanks. And I think even at this point, coaches got everyone upgraded. The whole squad is ready to fight over this Elder in about Cloud Soul first, then we'll be able to get into some Elder action. And again, this is kind of interesting. This is where the Cloud Soul kind of comes into play, Cowboy, because we're going to have the Soul be taken, but whichever team gets it, it's kind of like a minor advantage, you know? It's not going to be game-changing like an Ocean Soul, as you were kind of talking about earlier. I want to see someone go for this Baron and really try to open up the game. Coach, I like him being on the bottom side of the map. Keep crits with the team. You want the damage. You can wait for the call of the Forge God to come in, I think, a little bit later. We'll have to see, though. Vision control, kind of even. One red ward there on the Baron to try to spot that one out.
Yeah, I really do like Coach in the bot lane here, while the rest of Darkside looks like they're rotating up. Coach, of course, with the teleport ready. However, taking out those wards is not going to be useful, because, you know, you can't really teleport if there's nothing to teleport to.
Right.
Dude, if the teleport summoner spell just turned into a Twisted Fatal, would that champion even be relevant anymore? I don't know. Okay, well, good talk.
I wonder here, Cowboy. Interesting map positions. We see Zongi's at base, and
Ooh, that shred.
Wait a minute.
We have 3 men on the Baron here. Crits. Oh, incredibly close. But that is going to be the Baron for the side of the Exiles. And that Baron might let them push to the end here. Well, not quite to the end, but to the end of the base. It's close enough to the end that you can call it the end. It's like when you're like 90% the way through a game. But yeah, I'm at the end of the game. You know what I mean.
Yeah, just like everyone in chat is thinking, I think Darkside blinked too and missed that Baron attempt with the double ADC composition. That objective just gets absolutely melted. Kaisa on 6 items, kind of 5, but we'll count Boots as that lucky number 6. Really just completely online. Just so now got the Collector. He's gonna be absolutely lethal in the back line. And look at the side pressure. Now Pyro's able to chill one-on-one. Coach, the poor Orin, it's kind of difficult for him to deal with these Baron up minions. And now the siege begins, Cowboy.
Okay, this is completely off topic, but did anybody just see those raptors? So Jisoo was taking those raptors, and then they just walked the complete opposite direction, even though nobody was on the other side? Like, where did they go? What?
Look how long the route lasts!
Oh my... Alright, well, Shockblade would love to play the game, but unfortunately, Darkside says, no, thank you, go to the gray screen. You are now colorblind.
Let's keep in mind, new season, Merc Boots, still really good. Tenacity is pretty nice. Nevertheless, it's still, we see the Degenerate Exiles dominating this mid lane siege.
Crits has package here. This could be potentially deadly for the Exiles. Or they are just going to back up. They're going to take the W. Dragon is coming up in 30 seconds. This is soul for either team. Whichever one gets it. Lucky winner, you know? We do have Jisoo 2 levels above the Volibear, though. Above Zongi. So this Smite fight shouldn't even be close, in theory.
Right now, there's no wards for either team. The package is actually going to be used. It might have been expiring. Lucky for the Exiles, that could be enough for them to try to turn it. No vision around them. They're going to have to go in blind. The Kaisa's here, though. Level 18. Here we go. Dragon is started. They're going to try to bring it out. Maybe that's the time they need.
Maybe it is, and it looks like it's going to be Pyro flashing! Oh my god! This Dragon Steel! What is going on? That 4-man knockup just absolutely saved them, that Dragon Coach. So much damage is being taken. He's not tanky enough. That is soul for the Exiles, and they can easily transition that into the game.
This could be the advantage they need. Look, Graves' ultimate still available. He's going to be walking into base with this one, Cowboy. What a beautiful fight there from the Exiles. This time, once again, around the Dragon, they are the ones in control. They're the ones pulling the trigger. They're the ones who find the engage, and they're looking to find the Nexus as well.
And it does look like they are going to get it. 20-second timers on everybody except Zongi and Scratch. Look at that damage. That is one Graves combo. And the big shiny rock is exposed, and they are just whacking on it. And that is going to be the shiny rock destroyed. GG, everybody. Let's give that one to the Exiles. That was so impressive.
Degenerate Exiles are going to even out this best of 2 set and finish off dead even with Darkside in. It looked like once the Exiles, they went back to their comfort zone. They shifted away from the new meta stuff. They went away from the Karma in the top lane, the Seraphine in the bottom lane. They went back to what they know, and that's team fighting. And ladies and gentlemen, they can certainly do that well. They found a couple key engages. Pyro, even though he was shut down early on the Malphite, really came up huge with that massive engage at the end of the game there. Really solid effort. And Cowboy, if there's one thing I kind of want to hear right now, it's the thoughts from our analyst desk, what they think of that crazy game.
You know, I have to agree. We're hoping to get an interview going on here because I really want to know what's going on in the mind of the Exiles after that, after getting just absolutely demolished in that first game. You'd expect the team mental to be like in the negatives. Like, it's gone from North America to China. It's so deep. But we're going to have to wait and see and pass it to the analysts.
Hello, everybody. Idea PC here, joined by Gunjan on the analyst desk.